Oh, then yes, I did. Taking all of this stuff. You're supposed to be. All right, here we go. I only see you. We go here. Then over here. Then
Hey, you don't need to buy the gift card, Dad.
okay.
Although I still do need that eShop, the online thing.
Okay. Well, now we're recording live, so
Oh, okay.
let's see if we can't get this thing to here. Press one. And we'll go with. All right. Today we're going to review top 10 African American heroes as told to us by Top 10 Nerd.
Woo!
And we'll see. Maybe we'll learn something today if I start right here. I think I need it. Oh, there we go. We'll see who makes the list. Let's see. Who do you think will make the list?
Falcon, Captain America, Black Lightning.
Well, you're looking at a picture of Black Lightning.
Oh,
That's
no,
obvious.
yeah. Oh, Black Panther. Is Moon Knight black?
No. Well, it depends on who's drawing him, but there was a time when Mark Spector did look like a black guy, but I don't believe he's black.
Okay. I said Black Panther already.
Uh huh.
I think that's all I know. Oh,
Okay.
Miles Morales, maybe.
Miles Morales, he better be on here. He got famous real fast. He got famous real fast. All right, let's see how this works. If we get this thing to look super cool, and we could do our own reaction video to a YouTube video, and then we'll have our reaction video up for at least this week's Syncretize until we can get us a.
Whoa! You have to have that face for the thumbnail.
Oh, that. Okay, we can do that. All right, let's go.
Our series on diverse heroes here on Top 10 Nerd. Today we're taking a look at African American heroes, and it was hard to pick who got on here, so hopefully you all like it and we can do a part 2. For now, I'm Sasha, and these are the top 10 African American heroes. Let's get started. Number 10, Falcon, Sam Wilson.
There you
Sam Wilson
go.
debuted
Yeah.
Captain America number 117 back in 1969 and has the distinction of being the first African American superhero in mainstream comics. Black Panther, who predates him, is the first African hero in mainstream comics. Gene Cohen had this to say about the Falcon's creation. In the late 1960s, when news of the
Hey,
Vietnam War and civil rights protests were regular occurrences, and Stan, always wanting to be at the forefront of things, started bringing these headlines into the comics. One of the biggest steps we took in this direction came in Captain America. I enjoy drawing people of every kind. I drew as many different types of people as I could into the scenes. I illustrated and I loved drawing black people. I always found their features interesting, and so much of their strength, spirit, and wisdom written on their faces. I approached.
now I don't know if I like that quote, but
That's a strange quote.
it is. But I used to think Falcon was a whack hero. I still kind of think he's a whack hero. I'm like because maybe because I just never read the books because I'm like they don't make him any they don't give him any augmentation, no enhancement. I think by now he's had to be, juiced up with something. They made him Captain America, you know.
Yeah, he's Captain America now, so actually
Yeah.
I
So
care a
all
lot
right,
more now.
I'm gonna keep going.
Stan, as
Just
I was
Black
grappled with
Birdman.
the idea of introducing an African American hero,
There used
and
to
he
be a
took to
hero
it
called
right away.
Birdman.
I looked at
Huh.
several African American magazines and used them as the basis of inspiration for bringing the Falcon to life. The Falcon proved popular from the outset, which is why there was such backlash when he received a retcon that took him from kind social worker to street thug. It didn't go well, and people like to pretend it didn't happen until they wouldn't let us. Thanks, 2010. Sam Wilson would take up the mantle of Captain America for a bit, but would become the Falcon again with the return of Steve Rogers, or rather with how they resolved the Steve Rogers Hail Hydra debacle. Number 9, Misty Knight. Misty Knight first debuted in Marvel Premiere number
Huh.
21 back in 1975.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Retroactively be said to have appeared as an.
Misty Knight. She used to be in comic book Power Man and Iron Fist, but
Hmm.
then she had her own solo career in a book called Daughters of the Dragon, where she had a partner who was also a kung fu fighter. You'll notice that she has a cybernetic arm
Yeah.
because of somewhere in her she got the arm chopped off somewhere
Because of course she did.
else. Yeah, but she's street level. But okay, I don't know how she got in.
Years earlier. She was largely inspired by the blaxploitation era at the time, hence her kung fu skills and bionic assets. Fun fact, her and Iron Fist had the first interracial kiss between superheroes in mainstream comics in 1977. Misty Knight was on the rise in the police force when an explosion took her arm, and she got a cool metal one instead from Tony Stark, and so she joined the Metal Arms Club. She
Of course, it's
and
from
Knight
Tony
to take
Stark.
on crime
Who
and have
else?
a detective agency called Nightwing Restorations. It was all too cool for school. Misty Knight needs more cred and highlights. More bionic arm action, please. Number 8, John Stewart. Now, John Stewart, the Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah.
Number 87 back in 1971 or 1972. It's not quite clear if it was December or January. And he is the first African-American superhero over at DC Comics. He would go on to become a beloved Green Lantern thanks to his unique approach to his secret identity, which was ultimately to abandon it and go around unmasked to show people in his community that you could do it, you could be a hero. He also just had his act way more together than Hal Jordan at the time. That man was a mess. One of his creators, Neil Adams, stated, "We ought to have a black Green Lantern. Not because we're liberals, but because it just makes sense."
Right.
John Stewart would even become the Green Lantern for some, thanks to the Justice League animated series, which for many was their first introduction to these characters. John Stewart, definitely a welcome addition to the core of way too many humans protecting one planet in the entire galaxy. Go Green Lantern Corps. Number 7, Blade. Blade first debuted in Dracula number 10 in 19...
Oh, the vampire.
Yes, the vampire.
From the start, the fact that Blade was a black man was taken into account. In 2003,
something they never do is make him
stated
British.
On his creation, Marv told me Blade was a black man, and we talked about how he should dress and how he should look. Very heroic looking. The blades, that was Marv's idea, but I dressed him up. I put the leather jacket on him, and so on. Blade proved popular and would actually end up adapted in a series of films starring Wesley Snipes, which some superhero historians claim don't get enough credit as to their place in the superhero cinematic landscape. Blade actually had a resurgence in general in the 90s. Vampires and associated lore are like that. They come in waves. Sometimes you barely hear about them, other times there's no escape. Blade's name is actually Eric Brooks, but I mean, why call him that when you can call him Blade? He's also part vampire, just everything about Blade.
The reason why I like him.
Black Hammer. Black Hammer is an interesting outing. It's a series created by Jeff Lemire that initially centers around a group of heroes trapped in a small town after saving the world. They can't leave, as evidenced by what happened to the leader of their group, Black Hammer. Now, even though Black Hammer isn't the main character at the series' outset, his presence is definitely felt, and as the series goes on, you learn more and more about him. He's a Thor type of hero. Though he himself is not a god, he wields a hammer that brings him in league with them. However, despite this, he strives to keep a hero-life balance, and is an inspiration to his daughter, who would take up his mantle as the second Black Hammer. Black Hammer also had a lot of spin-offs and took quite a while to come out. It's one of those series that has a polarizing ending as well. Number 5, Mr. Terrific. For this, we're talking about the second Mr. Terrific, Michael Holt, who debuted in Spectre number 54 back in 1990.
Why they always gotta be the second one?
Mr. Terrific after being inspired by the story of the first
The second Mr. Terrific. The second Green Lantern.
Michael Holt will be one of those characters who would just get more and more fleshed out. Yes, he was a genius, an entrepreneur, and all that good stuff, but he also had something all good characters need: flaws to balance him out. Why was he on that bridge? Well, because he got into an argument with his wife about his atheism versus her faith, which made her late for church, and she got into an accident on the way there, which would cause him to have a whole crisis. Mr. Terrific would go on to become a key member of the JSA, and he has found his way into adaptations. He may not be the best known out there, but for those looking for someone they may not have seen before, Mr. Terrific is one to watch. Number 4, Jack in the Box. There have been a couple of Jack in the Boxes over in Astro City. So let's start with the first, Jack Johnson. He was a toy inventor in the 60s who broke down racial barriers to rise in the ranks of a prominent toy firm, only to be disillusioned when he realized his inventions were being used for criminal purposes. After protesting got him fired, he adapted his inventions as a weapons arsenal. First just taking on the company, which had also kidnapped his father, but then expanding his operations to protecting more of his area of Astro City. His son would take up his mantle years after his death, becoming the second Jack in the Box, but would end up having to decide between his superhero career and his family when he met future versions of his children destroyed by his heroic legacy. It was all really compelling, honestly. Check it out if you have the chance. Number 3, Spawn. Spawn is Francis Simmons.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy's in Mortal Kombat.
Is he? Mainstream comics.
Yeah.
Although he had the concept for Spawn brewing for some time. After he is murdered by his best friend, who also marries his wife, that's ice cold, he makes a deal with the devil and becomes an agent of it. Memories stripped and faded, but things break through and Spawn cannot be contained, and he finds new purpose in life as an anti-hero, with an awesome cape. They have done more adaptations, and McFarlane one day hopes for another crack at another movie. Number 2, Cyborg. Victor Stone.
Hey.
After a horrific accident that leaves the
But
majority of his
they've
body
rechanged his
destroyed.
past too.
His father saves him using technology he was working on. At first just high-tech, later on apocalyptian tech for New 52 purposes.
Right.
Cyborg would first be seen on the new Teen Titans and would have a compelling struggle, having to go on with all these attachments and abilities he never asked for, divorced from the life he had expected and for a time the only one he wanted. Cyborg has become a fan favorite. He would be added as a core member of the Justice League during the New 52, but there are mixed reactions to that in the long run, as many miss the relationships and dynamics he had with the Teen Titans. Number 1, Luke Cage, aka Power Man.
Wow, no Black Panther or Miles Morales.
Luke Cage is another distinction. Who's
Well,
the
actually,
African-American character to be
Miles Morales makes sense.
and title character of his own book. So no starting off somewhere else, just bam, straight to the Cage. Luke Cage, hero for hire, but it would be renamed Luke Cage Power Man, and then eventually Luke Cage and Iron Fist when the Blaxploitation era ended, or began to fade rather, which was what had been keeping both those characters afloat. They were paired together to try and save them.
I read those.
Carl Lucas is born and raised in Harlem and betrayed by friend William Stryker, because don't trust people named Stryker over in the Marvel Universe. Don't do it. He gets his powers after being experimented upon in prison. Upon escaping, he decides to use his new powers to keep his neighborhood safe and make some money on the side. Luke Cage is cool and has translated well out of the era that spawned him. So those were 10 African-American superheroes. Please warm my heart.
Why did they show pictures of Miles Morales at the beginning and the end of the video, but they don't bring him up at all?
Forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe and hit the bell notifications that you.
I think she wants us to make sure that they get a second one of this.
So she's like, I'll talk about Spider-Man if you let us make another video.
Yeah. So what do you think about their list of 10?
That was cool. I learned about some Jack in the Box. That guy creeps me out. That seems
I didn't know, but I never read
scary.
that series, Astro. I never read Astro City. I was never into it. And
I think he could pull off like almost being like the Joker of the Marvel Universe if they wrote him like that.
But Astro City isn't the Marvel Universe. It's a separate universe altogether.
Oh shoot!
It was a one compendium thing. It's a separate universe.
Wow.
It's a comic book called Astro City.
But that dude is weird.
Yeah, I don't understand how those. Well, I wonder what was her mindset when she came to the. I think she was looking at black heroes that broke through, that like made a difference for the time that they came out. Falcon coming out during the Vietnam era and not actually losing steam, being the second African American character, because he, I think he comes out after Black Panther was introduced first, but he was he's the first African American versus Black Panther, who was an African. Then who else was on the list? There was only
Cyborg.
One
there was Cyborg. There was Spawn.
But there was only one female, which is interesting because normally a
Misty
list like
Knight
this was like, why wouldn't you have Storm? So.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess did she?
Storm is African, not African American. So that's the thing. We have to think about people who were Americans.
They were very good with their criteria of making sure they knew who's who.
Yeah. So the surprise to me, I guess not too much of a surprise, because Luke Cage being the number one, when you're calling about specifically African American superheroes, he's the one that's been around the longest. He's had the most impact, and he was the first one to have his own comic. The others didn't have their own comic. He had his own, and that kind of works out for him. So that was a cool list.
That was nice.
Now thinking about it, because she said it, who are other? Now they have to be Americans, not Africans.
I don't know any.
Because the one that you keep loving, you keep saying Miles Morales.
No. But when I started thinking about it, he's not as much African American as he is African.
Latino. African Latino.
Because his mom's Latinx, and his dad's African American.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why they didn't add him on.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just really want to make a second list. They can add him. I don't know.
I think that's what they wanted to do, because they also showed us.
Yeah, because you showed him in the beginning and at the end of the video.
And they showed us Black Lightning, who is not on the list.
Yeah, if you want to make another video, just make another video.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's the tease to get everybody to want to do it. That's how they create their lists is based on who can they get, who would be interested, or who do people think should have been on there that wasn't. Because I think I would have rather put Black Lightning on there before I would have put Jack in the Box. Black Lightning's
I
been around for a
don't
long time. Black Lightning spawned the first live action black superhero show, I believe. We don't have to.
No, Luke Cage came before Black Lightning.
You are right, which then even cements Luke Cage being number one, because then
Luke
he was
Cage
the
was the
first.
first. He had
Yeah,
seen
again, first
everything.
again. He's ahead of everything.
I'd like to see a death match of Jack in the Box versus the Joker.
Why?
I don't know. The aesthetics.
Is that's the thing? You're looking just because they're both clowns?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, okay. Well, I don't think that's gonna be fun.
An insane clown versus a
A guy
heroic
dressed like an
clown?
insane clown because he's not insane. The Jack in the Box character, he's not
No, I
insane.
mean like yeah, Joker is insane.
Yes,
But Jack in the Box isn't.
right, and that's what the would be the drawback there. But again, different universes. I don't know if you're getting that part. Um,
No, but like not an actual like they write out the comic and stuff. It's like someone on YouTube get on that. Like those people at
they have
Death
those.
Battle,
Yeah,
Rooster Teeth.
you watch those? You've seen those?
Yeah, I've seen a few of those. Rooster Teeth, if you're watching this, Jack in the Box versus Joker. Can we
You
get
have to.
that?
I think I don't know if they'll be watching this, but you have to ask them to post what they would like to see.
It's on the small chance that they see this. Jack
Yeah,
in the Box versus Joker.
we could
I think
talk.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be a neat situation. Neat situation. All right. Well, I think we can end today our syncretize. We didn't really get into mission or meaning today. We just really reviewed somebody's top 10 list. And my question today actually can deal with the idea that we would have gone to that list because it kind of takes us away for the moment.
Yeah.
We're not focused on the stuff going on in the streets or on the news or the president. For a little while, we
Just
just want
having
to
some
have fun
fun.
and play in the sandbox of our imagination. And I think that's always what are you doing? That's always a thing that is
Doing a
like
little dance.
super fun when it comes to this stuff. So,
What episode is this?
this is episode 7, I believe.
You have it on there as episode 7.
Yeah,
Well, let's see how many episodes of this be. Yep, it is. Where is episode 5?
I don't know where
You named both of you named one episode 4, and then you named another one episode 4.
so one of them should be episode 5.
Yeah, one of them, the one about the movie influences is episode 5. Pixar and the Gospel is episode 4. Black Superhero Teens episode 3. Not sure what episode 2 is. And episode 1 was just the original.
Uh-huh.
Then episode 6 was Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Harry Potter.
You think that's a terrible British accent?
It is.
Very
It is.
Cockney.
Blimey, mate.
Yeah, have a good time with that, brother. All right, that's it for today. I will post this one. Will get posted.
Yay.
Ep 7. So if you are watching this, we appreciate you watching. We invite you to like, subscribe, give us some suggestions as to where we will go. That's Micah. I'm Delroy, and
You're on that side for me.
Oh yeah, and hopefully we'll have a lot of fun talking about fandom and comics and cartoons and sci-fi.
And if you want, to be a guest, message him at. You could plug something. I don't know.
We'll get that. We'll get all of that together. Just like, subscribe. Let us know how we can make this better as we are building our brand, what Syncretize can be, and can participate in it and go for it. All right, Little Brooks, later, and we are done.